Hello and welcome to ICTN's Open Line Candidate Forum. I'm Thomas Gandy. Election Day is May 1st and we want you to be informed. 3 city council races are on the ballot, along with 12 propositions that relate to the issuance of up to $563.4 million in bonds for capital improvement projects. For the council races, we invited all of the candidates to come to our studio. Each had approximately 6 minutes to talk about the issues he feels are important. Keep in mind the candidates' opinions are their own and not necessarily those of ICTN or the City of Irving. Early voting is April 19th through 27th, and Election Day, as I mentioned, is on May 1st. Now, the messages from the candidates. First up, the candidates for Single Member District Place 4. You will hear from them in the order in which they will appear on the ballot. A drawing determines that order. Here they are.
My name is Sunil Moses. I live in long time in Irving. I am married. I have 3 kids. They are all going in Irving school. I'm running for place 4, City of Irving. Early voting start April 19 through 27. Actual voting date is May 1st. Please kindly vote for me. Thank you.
Hello viewers, my name is Phil Riddle. I'm a candidate for re-election to the Irving City Council in Place 4. That represents District 4, which is the south end of Irving and wraps around to the east. I have been your council member for 6 years, your representative, and I am seeking a 3rd term that would term me out, but there are some things that I would like to see us accomplish in the next 3 years. I've been a resident of Irving for 72 plus years. When my parents moved here in 1946, it was a small burg of about 2,500 people, and now we're much larger than that, probably approaching 250,000. So when I say I have grown up in Irving, I can also say I've grown with and aged with Irving, and so I've seen lots of changes. I'm a product of the Irving school system. I graduated from UT Arlington in 1972 with a Bachelor of Science in Biology. Spent some time in the Air Force, and then my career was with the Irving Fire Department for 32 and a half years, and I was serving the city through that capacity. As a paramedic, as a firefighter, finally I retired as a captain in 2010. It's been my privilege to serve the south end of town for the last 6 years. I've been a resident. I've owned property in District 4 for a little over 42 years. So I'm well aware of what takes place in our end of town. I know what we need, I know where we've been, and I can see where we need to go. There's been so many changes in the city over the last many years. We've seen the rise and the literal fall of the Plymouth Park Shopping Center. We saw the arrival of DFW Airport to the west and how it influenced the growth of our city, how it influenced the growth of the Las Colinas area and Ben Carpenter's vision that he had. We've seen the introduction of light rail and rail transportation into our city, and that's helped grow us. We've seen the cowboys come, we've seen the cowboys go, and yet our city continues to forge ahead. We've seen many things advance in the last 6 years, not the least of which is the Toyota Music Factory. We've seen it come to fruition finally, and before the pandemic last year, the Toyota Music Factory was rated as one of the very top entertainment venues of a facility its size in the whole world. We've seen the Convention Center Hotel come online, and it was doing very well. And while the pandemic has not hurt us really severely in the sales tax department, it has really crushed us in tourism and the hotel industry. And so we'll be struggling for probably a couple of years to come out of that. Actually talking with Mara Gass the other day, she mentioned that she had a couple of conferences that were scheduled cancel because of the lifting of the mask mandate, and they were concerned about what exposure there might be for some of their attendees. So we're still struggling with trying to get things back online in that area. The city has done a really good job of handling assistance to those in need during the pandemic. Most of you know, the federal government has allotted funds to the cities and the counties, and we have been working with residents to make sure they got assistance with rent, with utilities. We've been working to make sure they're fed. We put people up when they need to be put up, but we have been working really hard, and I can't say enough about our Housing and Human Services Department and how they've worked to help that take place. So a lot of things that I mentioned were in far north Irving, and you say that's great for them. Well, what about South Irving? What about down here? What about the things that we need down here? And I can tell you that the city is spending millions of dollars to expand Heritage Park with its amphitheater and its increased activity areas. You're going to see construction start on Irving Boulevard in the next year to year and a half, where it's going to be improved with landscaping and parallel parking, and it's going to have a different look to it, and it's going to dress the place up, and it's going to look pretty nice, and we hope it will lure new businesses into that area. There's a proposal for apartments at the old lumber yard. We have a Starbucks going in downtown. It's my hope that as some of these things come to take place, that you'll see a renewed interest, and people will stand up and take notice and say, hey, business is good in South Irving, and we can make it go down there, and we can make it work. When you look at the 2 zip codes south of Highway 183, there's almost 100,000 people living in those 2 zip codes. And I believe in my heart that we can support any business that comes down here, especially restaurant business. People are crying out, they're clamoring for restaurants in this area, and they want to see something that will help boost their ability to stay down here in South Irving when they want entertainment. I know how you feel, and I know that we need a new grocer to replace the Fiesta store that closed on Shady Grove. I can tell you the Chamber of Commerce is talking with people, and they're trying to make sure that we get that in there. We care about the people that live in the south end of town. Our Road to the Future program has done wonders to improve the condition of roads down here. And our next project will be to address drainage issues in the south end of town. Thank you for listening. My name is Phil Riddle, candidate for District 4. I want to serve you for 3 more years, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for listening.
Now to the candidate running unopposed for single-member district, place 6.
Good day. I'm Al Zaponta. I'm your city councilman in District 6. That's up in the northern part of our city, Irving, and the Las Colinas area, and I'm running for re-election. The election will be May 1 of this year, and so I want you to know that some of my areas of focus and why am I running for my second term. This first 3 years that I've spent has given me the opportunity to really sense what a great city we live in. But we're also growing, and we're growing at about a 10% clip every couple of years. So we are now somewhere over 240 some odd thousand people that have come into our city in the last 10 years, almost 40 plus thousand. So services by our city for our citizens are very, very important, but also because we're doing the kinds of development that we're in the hottest job market in Texas. The whole Metroplex, but Irving in particular, we have brought in more industry and businesses that have now relocated from places like California and other parts of the West Coast and the East Coast. So we have the ability to really build even a stronger and more vibrant community, and I'm really fortunate to be a councilman that is part of this. Now, we've had a very tough year of this COVID-19. We've wrestled with it. We've been able to do what we can with our city budget. We had a decline on our revenues, so we had to hold steady on any kind of new hires and or retirees, and to kind of keep it so that we had a stable number, even though we lost somewhere in the vicinity of $6 million that was made up due to our reserve fund and other cutting that we've had to do. We're into the second year of this As you know, when we do the budget is from October 1 to September 30 of the year. And so we're now in that second year and second budget that has been impacted by COVID-19. We are now looking at where we need to hold the line, where we'll cut if we have to cut, and more specifically, hoping that we'll have in the next couple of months, meaning by, I'd hope by May, June at the latest, that we're going to have many more restaurants opening. We're going to have the ability for people to come back into their places of work and their offices, and at the same time have the ability to be part of our great community. We are in a situation where we are going to have an opportunity put before you, the voter, on May 1 of 12 items that are part of our bond. And that bond is to look at areas of infrastructure development, also the areas of public safety, our fire and police, as well as some of the amenities of libraries, our parks and recreation, our museum that we now have in our archives location here right next door to the Irving administration building, our city hall, as well as our arts and our Irving Convention and Visitor Bureau and what we call Visit Irving. And so with that, there's a lot of activities, a lot of issues that we're dealing with, but also a lot of good work. And so I'm here to ask you to think about voting for Al Zaponta, District 6, on May 1. But most specifically, to tell you, it's a real honor and a pleasure to be your councilman, and I look forward to serving you for the next 3 years. Thank you, good luck, stay safe, see you soon.
Next up, we hear from the candidates in at-large District Place 8.
Hi, my name is David Palmer. I'm your city councilman in Place 8 at large. I've been in that spot for 2 terms. I'm running for re-election in my 3rd and final term. So I want to tell you a little bit about what I've learned and how I plan to continue going. I've really placed emphasis on infrastructure. In my first meeting, the day I was sworn in, about 8:45 on May the 20th in 2015, and about 10:30 that morning during a first budget review, Dan Vedrell from Transportation stood up there and told us how in Irving we've got about 635 public miles of streets, and how over the last several years we've been averaging repaving, rebuilding between 2 and 3 miles of that a year. And he commented, so that means we'll be in front of your house once every 200 years, whether it needs it or not. And that told me we had to focus on that. Within about a month, I was meeting with the mayor of Coppell, and I learned that Coppell is about 1/5 our size in terms of public road miles, and they were spending about 3 times as much as we were. So this really became a point of emphasis. It's been on the citizen surveys for years as the number one problem, number one complaints, situation and condition of streets. So we've started the Road to the Future program with help from city manager. I think everybody on the council has been supportive of it. And we need to all be as citizens supportive of it, because we're now spending about $20 million a year repaving, rebuilding our roads. And that is an amount that needs to be spent ongoing every year for years, as far as any of us can see. That's going to have to continue. So I placed emphasis on that and commitment. Also, you know, the biggest cost we have in the city throughout are employee costs, because of the service industry. And the first year I was on, we were self-insured for health care. We started looking at projecting a $29.5 million budget for claims, and we started to make some changes. And those changes entailed changes to deductibles, changes to copays, prescription plans, talking to employees about the importance of looking and shopping for their medications. In the first year after that was instituted, our claims dropped by about $6 million, down to about $22 million. And they've eked back up some since then, but probably over the 4 years-ish that's been in, we've saved the city at least $15 million in cost for that. So that's important. Also, fireman's pension plan became an issue, and because of that, really focus on all other pension plans and compensation levels came into discussion. And frankly, that's not a topic that made friends for me with employees of the city, because it's talking about their structure and their compensation. But I believe, along with other members of management of the city, including the city manager, that these are things that must be talked about, must be explored and discussed, because it's top of the line that we want to be competitive in attracting employees and have top-notch employees, which I do believe we have, and that we've got to be competitive in doing that, but we've got to be sustainable going forward. And so these are hard topics to talk about. They're not easy because it's impacting everybody's compensation benefits sitting in the room, other than those of us that are on the council. So that's been a topic of discussion. Also, I was a big supporter of the Music Factory. That was a contentious project. I think that it's been very successful, and even with this big disruption from COVID, it's been a very successful project. The hotel's complete, the convention center, it's all, once meetings began, we're positioned. The three-legged stool we talked about over the years was completed. So going forward, I continue to want to be a person on the council who is fiscally responsible. One of the things that's also I discovered during this, we pay more as a city for construction costs because we're a governmental unit than any private entity would pay, probably 3 times more. So that's an emphasis that we're going forward with the legislature to try to proceed to see how we can fix those things. So let me conclude by saying that I've served hard, I've spent time, I've got the experience of both work and education. I have an undergraduate degree in accounting, I have a law degree, I have a master's in business administration. I run a company that's here in Irving, 73,000 square feet with 54 employees, making a $55,000, $56,000 payroll every week. So I understand business, I understand employee relations, and I understand what it takes to be what it means to be a taxpayer in this city. So I'm asking you for your vote. Again, my name is David Palmer. I'm running for Place 8, City Council at Large. Everyone in the city can vote for me, and I hope you do. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dennis Webb, and I am running to be your next representative of Place 8 on the Irving City Council. Some of you know I served on the council before, fulfilling a 9-year term limit. I'm running again because I desire to continue to serve the residents of Irving, and because many people have asked me to run. Some have asked me why I chose to run against the incumbent David Palmer. My answer is, I'm not running against David Palmer. I am running for the only seat that is available for me to run this election cycle. I believe I'm an asset to the City Council due to the many years of leadership experience that I have in organizations and churches. That experience spans over about 35 years. My 30 years as a municipal employee, as a Grand Prairie firefighter, gives me some perspectives my opponent does not possess about municipal employees. I have experience in the affordable housing area since I spent many years working through the Bear Creek Development Corporation, building and rehabbing homes in the Bear Creek community. I believe that we can build affordable homes in Irving, and I have some ideas I believe will help to produce those homes in our city. We need homes that teachers and nurses and firefighters and police officers and just everyday blue-collar workers, including our own city employees, can afford to live here in our city. My tenure as a taxpaying resident for 38 years and my residency in the Bear Creek community of 57 years shows you my commitment to the city of Irving. I could afford to live anywhere I please, but I've chosen Irving as my home for my family. My heart has a compassion to serve people, especially people who are less fortunate, such as our homeless residents and those nearing homelessness. The homeless crisis is growing, and the city of Irving must have a plan to respond to the humanitarian need. I feel I am the best candidate to help lead that effort. I currently chair the Homeless Task Force for the city of Irving, working with other nonprofits, coming up with strategies and recommendations to the city council in ways that they can respond to our homeless need in our city. I can go on and on about why I'm the best candidate, but I will stop. You can go to my website at votedennis.com or my Facebook page at Dennis Webb for Irving and learn more about me. If you want a sign put in your yard, you can email me at webbdennis7@gmail.com. If you want to contribute to my campaign, and I would greatly appreciate it, you can go to donorbox.org/Webb for Irving and donate. Thank you for listening to me, and please cast your vote for Dennis Webb on May 1st.
Those are the messages from the candidates. If you missed any part or want to watch again, check out the show online at youtube.com/The City of Irving or go to ictn.tv, then click on shows. To recap, early voting is April 19th through 27th, then Election Day is May 1st. For a list of polling locations, visit dallascountyvotes.org. The City Secretary's office can answer election questions. That number is 972-721-2493. Thanks for watching this special edition of Open Line, the Candidate Forum. We'll see you next time.